Patriots final score 25-22 in Foxboro. You're watching Jets Overtime presented by SiriusXM. Quincy Enunwa, Eric Allen, Ethan Greenberg. The New York Jets now 2-6 on the season, the same record with the New England Patriots. And EA didn't feel like when you look at this game specifically, we can break this down from a number of different ways, but the fact of the matter is that the Jets had a good drive at the end of the game to take the lead and then couldn't put the nail in the coffin at the end of the game.
I mean, I think Jeff Ulbrich summed up the feelings in the Jets locker room and throughout Jets Nation when he said, I'm pissed. We're pissed. The Jets fully expected to come in here and get the season sweep of the New England Patriots. Instead, they go home 25-22 losers. And you can't really pinpoint, okay, this is the area that failed today. The Jets did not play complementary football. You can look at every phase of the game, offense, defense, and special teams. It just wasn't good enough. And remember, entering this ball game, the Jets had beaten the New England Patriots 24-3 in their most complete performance in Week 3. The Jets have not won since then. And right now, they're just not finding answers when they need them, Q.
Yeah. This is just... It's just a bad game. Bad game overall. I don't even know how to put it into words, honestly. Like, it's a very frustrating thing to watch. It's a frustrating thing to analyze. I'm trying to come up with the words to say, okay, this is what happened. I want to make it black and white, but I don't know how to make that happen for the audience, for us at this table, right? And I know it's confusing for them back there as well, because you look at this roster, and again, we keep talking about this roster, how great it is, and it's just not coming. It's not coming to fruition. You bring in Devontae Adams, you bring in Haason Reddick, and you still can't produce results for this team. You're going against a Patriots team that is really bad. I mean, you've lost 5 straight games, and now the Jets are the team that you end up winning against. I mean, it just feels like same old Jets all over again. I hate saying that, because as a former player, I hated hearing it. So now to say it, it just feels the same. It feels like the same old Jets. Like, there's no reason why you lose to this team. And there's something about backup quarterbacks that the Jets just can't get over.
Yeah.
You bring in a backup quarterback, he comes in and he brings life to the team. The second half opens up, and they kick a punt, and we kick a punt to them. He returns it all the way to the opposite side of the field, and they score a touchdown. The Jets do that in the opening series, return a punt. Xavier Gipson does a great job. You punt the ball right back to them. So you just can't manufacture anything. Even when good things happen, you just can't compound on top of them. When bad things happen, it's compounded. When good things happen, it's like, that's it. It's over.
And to your point, the Patriots started Drake May in this game, who was the backup in Week 3 when the Jets and Patriots played. Drake May ended the game 3 of 6 before he went out with a head injury or neck injury and 23 yards throwing. He ran for 46, including a touchdown. That was the first score of the game. And for the Jets, like, when you look at the box score, which is probably makes Quincy's point, like, there's a lot of things that you point to and you're like, it looks good. Yeah. It looks good if you look at the way Aaron Rodgers played, 101 passer rating. Garrett Wilson went over 100 yards on 5 catches. Breece Hall averaged 5.0 yards per clip. Braylon Allen puts the Jets up 22-17 with 2:57 left in the game. And if you've watched the Jets over the past couple seasons, you're just not used to, EA, watching the defense not close the deal.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's 5 consecutive losses now for the Jets. And Aaron Rodgers said after the game, we've heard this now for a couple weeks, the expectation for the offense is to score 30 points.
Yeah.
Well, they come under that, 22 points. And like you guys were talking about, Drake May, promising young quarterback, for the New England Patriots, he goes out with a head injury following a scramble early in the game. Jamie Sherwood, I believe, was on the tackle on that one. Jacoby Brissett marches the Patriots down late in this ball game, and again, it's another quarterback hurting you with his legs. There were 2 critical third down conversions for the Jets to reach their standard defensively. They have to close the door in that situation. You cannot allow a backup quarterback on a team that has lost 6 consecutive games to march right down the field. And remember, this is a team that their head coach, Gerard Mayo, challenged them by saying they're soft. And the bottom line is the Patriots were the team that were making the plays at the end of the game. Brissett with the key scramble, and then that long pass play to Butte, and then that drive wraps up Ramondre Stevenson going in from 1 yard out.
Yeah, it's just not good enough, man. I mean, man, like, and you start the game off with 3 timeouts in the first quarter. I mean, I think from there we kind of saw where what was it, the written on the tea leaves, whatever the phrase is. I can't even come up with it right now, But like 3 timeouts in the first quarter, like what are we doing as a team? Multiple delay of game, even on a 2-point conversion, you got a delay of game. Ah man, and I think what really kind of sums it all up is you have a receiver on the opposite side who's dropping passes all game, and in the end, guess what? He's able to come up big for them 2 plays in a row. He has a big pass catch at the end, and then he has a 2-point conversion for them to help them go up on top.
So each week, Quincy's talking about a fast start. And who gets the first start in this game? The Patriots do. Yeah. The Jets actually responded with a couple touchdowns. They have a lead there at the end of the second quarter. They really have an opportunity to jump out in front to a big advantage, but a drive ends at the 40. They punt the ball away. You go up at halftime, and your first possession in the second half, third quarter, 3 and out. And what follows that up? This is what I'm talking about when we're speaking of complementary football. Marcus Jones, punt return, takes it all the way back into your territory, and before you know it, it's 14-13, and it's a seesaw game in the second half.
Yeah, it felt like around halftime that it was almost a similar situation to what happened in Pittsburgh, but the Jets did respond off of that drive that you just mentioned. And, one of the players in today's National Tight Ends Day, that's Tyler Conklin. He had a pretty good game, all things considered, including his second touchdown in as many games. And Bob Wischusen caught up with him after the game.
After a loss like that, everyone is going to throw dirt on this team and on the season. How do you guys keep that out of the locker room and keep some belief that you could still rebound?
Yeah, man. I think that's already been happening, right? The past couple of games, we dropped 5 in a row, or whatever it may be. And it just seems that everyone hurts a little bit more. And I think that's the big thing that we have talked about in this locker room is like the noise outside is gonna get loud. People are gonna have things to say, and we just as a team got to stick together and find a way to dig ourselves out of this thing.
What's the hardest part of finishing? I mean, these games are all right there within your grasp.
Yeah, you kind of go week to week, and every week you kind of look at the game like what was it? Like we felt like, we're up last week in the first half, we're up this week in the first half. Denver, Minnesota, all these games where you kind of look back like, damn, what was it that kept us from winning these games? And I think you look back at it and it just seems to be the little things, which obviously in football especially are big things. Not wasting 3 timeouts in the first quarter because not getting to the line fast enough or whatever that may be. Shooting ourselves in the foot. Whether it's penalties or miscues or just all the little things you got to do. As a football team to be a winning football team. That's the thing, right? It's a game of inches. It's a team sport. It's all those things. That's the beauty of it. And we got to find ways as a team to start doing the winning things and not the things that shoot ourselves in the foot.
Short week. You get right back at it on Thursday night. Just trying to keep a positive attitude. I mean, how difficult is that right now? Or is this group maybe going to benefit from a short week?
I mean, in the moment, right, it sucks. We just lost division opponent, rivalry game, all those things. So, you got to sit there and everybody's going to probably be pretty upset about it tonight. But we ain't really got a lot of time to feel crappy about it. And it is nice having a Thursday night game. You get a chance to go out there and get a bad taste out of your mouth. We've had a bad taste in our mouth for a few weeks here. So having a quick one that we can kind of go out there and, get that taste out of our mouth would be, it's going to be nice.
Thanks for your time. Appreciate it.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Great stuff from Tyler Conklin, who really seems to summarize it pretty well. And, all things considered, he was one of the players that had a very good game. I know when you look at the stat sheet again, like Garrett Wilson had a great game, but this touchdown catch right here to put the Jets on the board was tremendous, Quincy.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the guy, when his number's called, he comes up big, and that's why I appreciate him. He's a tight end that you want on your team, and also a leader, right? A guy that's saying the right things after the game. In times like this that are so frustrating to watch, it's always good to see guys like that who come up and make the plays week after week that they need to be made. I would love for them to continue to go back to him, man. He comes up big for this team. He plays well, plays big. He's a great route runner. Just a good player.
Like Tyler Conklin said, you have a chance to get the sour taste out of their mouths pretty quickly, because the Jets are hosting the Houston Texans on Thursday night, and you can secure your seats as the Jets try to upset the Texans in a Halloween showdown at MetLife Stadium on Thursday, October 31st, when the Green and White host C.J. Stroud and the Houston Texans, who had a 23-20 win over the Indianapolis Colts today. It's presented by Moody's. Limited number of single-game tickets are available at nyjets.com/tickets. You're watching Jets Overtime, presented by SiriusXM. Again, the Jets fall to the Patriots 25-22 in Foxboro. And listening to Aaron Rodgers post-game, EA, I know you had mentioned that he said the expectation for the offense should always be to try to score 30. But what else stood out to you from his post-game availability?
He's obviously, like, I'm repeating myself, but he sounds like Albrecht. All those guys are pissed off right now. It's a wasted opportunity. It's a division game. You have a lead. You have a lead multiple times. The Jets finished 3 of 5 in the red zone. But here's the story of the game. Then you talk about the Patriots. They were 3 of 4 in the red zone, so they converted more times the same amount of times with less opportunities inside the red zone. Rodgers did some good things today. We saw the Conklin touchdown. He also had a short touchdown to Xavier Gipson. That's Gibson's first touchdown from scrimmage in his career. I thought Garrett Wilson was phenomenal today as the Jets were taking advantage of using him in the slot, and there were a couple beautiful throws there from Rodgers. But what's maddening here for the Jets, who got 16 carries for 80 yards from Breece Hall, is they have not been able to put it all together. And this is the second consecutive week where they have a lead late in the second quarter and they can't build on it. So the team, last week it was the Steelers. This week it's the Patriots. They crawl right back into the game. And last week it was a snowball effect. But the Jets, when you have a team down who is as fragile as the Patriots, you got to keep them down.
Yeah, definitely. You know, this game, you lose by 3 points, right? So you have a missed field goal, missed PAT. I mean, Quincy Williams talks about it every week. Everybody's got to do their 1/11th, right? And I think, when you look at it, you analyze each aspect of it, like even on one of the field goals, right? We saw laces in. There's an opportunity for you to miss the field goal there. So I think the biggest thing is guys got to figure out, how can I do my job better? Because it ultimately makes the team look bad. You have to play complementary football. We talk about it every week. And I think that's where they have to figure out what they can do better in each phase of the game, special teams, offense, and defense, because they're so close right now to winning these type of games. At the very least, it's not a blowout, but this is a team that you're supposed to win against. I think when you come into this game, this is a team that you say, okay, they're not doing well. They're on a 5-game losing streak. We're on a 4-game, but we are right there. We feel like we're right there. And obviously the Patriots feel that same way. So what can they do now? How do you turn the page? How do you go forward with this? Because this is an ugly loss. It's just not the way you want to. You don't want to lose to a divisional opponent, especially not the Patriots. It always feels worse when it's the Patriots. Where do you go from here?
I just think about that one possession in the second half where the Jets got to the 20. Breece Hall fumbled, Tyler Conklin recovered, and then 2 plays later, Aaron Rodgers was sacked.
Yeah.
So you're pushed back. And then Zerline misses, I believe, a 44-yard attempt. And that's what we're talking about, like wasted opportunities. You get down there. Now, Rodgers had that great drive at the end where he hits Wilson. Great play pre-snap, because those guys, we're talking about nonverbal communication. He goes to him, and then he goes to Devontae Adams, and that precedes that touchdown for Braylon Allen. But again, defense comes on the field. They can't close the door.
Yeah. Look, let's take a look at how this unfolded, like from a scoring perspective, because the Patriots and Drake May drew first blood with the 17-yard run where Chaz Surratt was chasing him. Then we talked about the Tyler Conklin play. Xavier Gipson got on the board. Ramondre Stevenson puts the Patriots back on top after the Jets and Greg Zuerlein missed the extra point earlier in the game. Zuerlein did connect on a 29-yard field goal. And then later in the game, you're talking about 3 fourth-quarter scores where the Patriots go on top, then the Jets go on top, then the Patriots seal the deal with 25 seconds left with Ramondre Stevenson and his 1-yard rushing touchdown. Xavier Gipson, Quincy mentioned earlier in terms of the long punt return. He also had his first touchdown of the year. He caught up with Caroline Hendershot after this game.
Here with Xavier Gipson. What was the struggle for this offense today?
I don't think it was just a struggle. I just think self-inflicting wounds, too many penalties. Really, we just got to execute.
It felt like there was a different energy on the sideline today. I know that was a big point of discussion. Did you feel like this game was different?
I think it was just a game. I just felt like our energy was super high. It sucks it turned out that way. We translated from practice to the game, and we tried to carry it on. It was a lot of excitement plays going on. We just got to hold on to that.
What was Coach Ulbricht's message to the team?
You got to look within. Look within yourself, figure out what we need to do, get over this hump, look each other in the mirror, look ourselves in the mirror and stay together.
I know this is a tough loss, but then you guys play Thursday night already. So how do you really kind of shake this off and look ahead?
Like Coach Brick said, look yourself within, figure out what we need to do, what I need to do, what he needs to do, each individual, and see and carry that on to the next week.
Awesome. Appreciate the time, Xavier.
Thank you.
Jets fans, make sure you never miss a single update. You can text JETS to 26154 to receive the latest team news, game day alerts, and more straight to your phone. Terms and conditions do apply. All right, well, Xavier Gipson, one of the players in today's loss that played well. So did Quinnen Williams, Quincy. And what did you see from him on film? Let's actually go inside the film room presented by Microsoft.
Yeah. So I think one thing I'm really appreciative of is that Quinnen Williams showed up today. I think we've been looking for Quinnen Williams, and he's been making some quiet stats, but today we got to see some stats put on the board here. So we're just going to really play this sack first, and I'm going to show you guys the other angle. So now what we really wanted to see was how Haason Reddick was going to do today. So we're just going to follow him right now. What a great job of swiping the arm down, and then a good job of bending to get around the corner. If it wasn't for Quinnen coming on the inside, you would see Haason Reddick stats on the sheet. A good job of just making your presence felt in his first game. Now we get to see Quinnen, right? So this is what we love to see. As a receiver, we say get to half a man. So he jumps from this side to the opposite side. That gives you an opportunity to beat the man. It's harder to beat a man going right down the middle, but when you get on half a man, you get an opportunity to do stuff like that. Quinnen Williams showing up today, 2 sacks, 1.5 sack. I should have gave him 2, but he just got 1.5. So now here, again, what we like to see from him, another sack, another opportunity to get to the backfield. But what we really like is that our 2 edge rushers, they see that those are 2 guys that are important, that they can disrupt the game, and they chip them. So you're going to see the chips on either side, chip on the left, chip on the right. Right? We got to slow these guys up. But guess what? We got 2 guys in the middle. Kinlaw knocks his guy down, and then Quinnen gets the opportunity to do his sack dance that we've been missing all season.
It was really, on that last play, an impressive chip by Javon Kinlaw, taking out in the game right there. But Quinnen Williams finishes the game with 3 tackles, 1.5 sacks, 2 quarterback hits, a tackle for loss. Felt like this was his best game of the year. And we talked about the power of 3 and having 3 defensive linemen be impact players. What did you see in terms of how Haason Reddick helped those guys?
Well, I think today Green's, he's getting his feet wet. He's 26 snaps in all. I think he was credited with 2 pressures. I think he's just going to get better from here, and they're going to need him against the Houston Texans because the Jets have a quick turnaround, C.J. Stroud and company. But that was very encouraging what you saw on the inside from Quinnen Williams today with the sack and a half. And I just think Haason Reddick's going to get more and more play time as the weeks progress, and they need him.
And another player, Quincy, is Garrett Wilson. And he finishes team high, 5 catches, team high, 113 yards. What did you like from him today that really felt like he and Aaron Rodgers were on a different connection compared to some of the earlier weeks?
I mean, the guy's showing up, man. And the thing about him is that, last week he took a lot of responsibility for some of those plays that weren't completely his fault. But that's what you want to see from your leader, from your wide receiver 1. And he's proven he's supposed to be there with big plays, right? Coming up big, man coverage, too. This is a man coverage team. They're going to press you. They're going to make it hard on you. And he's coming up big across the field on this over route, right? So that's a good job. And then here, a nice goal ball. Just give me an opportunity. They went twice on that one. They played previously. They threw it. They didn't connect. They said, you know what? Run it back. I'm going to go again. And your number 1 comes up. And he's playing across from Devontae Adams, right? So those are some big shoes to kind of stand next to. And he's holding his own. Look at this one right here. Guys all over him. And he's making the plays for this team. I love watching Garrett Wilson. I think he's the number 1 receiver, and he shows that. He makes his mistakes. I think people like to.
There's his play late, too.
I mean, listen, that's a hole shot. That's a big play. That's the one that they missed last week, right? That's another hole shot throw. He said, you know what, I'm making this play this time.
You know what? I had memories of the Tennessee game. That's what I was thinking when they had the connection down the field, down the sideline, because we saw Rodgers get hot late against the Titans. He went 5 of 5 on that game-winning drive, and I thought that's what we were seeing here as he hits Wilson down the sideline, and then he comes back to the newcomer, the guy he's been reunited with. Devontae Adams gets inside the 5-yard line, and Braylon Allen punches it in, just like he did against the Titans. Yeah. And I was thinking, okay, this is going to be okay for the Jets. But again, complimentary football. We just did not see it from the Jets today. Yeah,
it's really like unfortunate when you look at all these good games of the Jets players have unfortunately come in losses. And like the Jets, Jeff Ulbrich has said this in his post-game press conference where everyone wants to say this is not who we are, but we are this until we prove otherwise. And the Jets have good players on this team. It's not like in question. I think comes full circle to what you said, Quincy. It's frustrating to analyze because it's an intangible thing on how to start playing complementary football.
Yeah, but what I will say though is I appreciate Ulbricht's comment there. Like a lot of guys like to say, "Oh, this is not who we are," and like, come on, man, we're watching it, right? So until you prove otherwise, this is who I'm going to think you are. You have to continue to show up every week and show me who you are. And right now, you're not showing me that you're the team that you said you were going to be, but. Listen, he's taking accountability. He's doing what he's supposed to do as a head coach. Now, how do you move forward? That's his job. The rest of the players got to make sure that they're resting up and getting ready for this Thursday night game because that's going to be another battle.
Close is not good enough in the National Football League. I know we live in a society where we're talking about participation trophies, but nobody in the Jets locker room is saying, oh, we're close. Yeah. Because you can go all the way back to Week 4 against the Broncos. You lose a 1-point game. Yeah, you could have won that game if you hit a field goal. Then you go obviously to London. You play the Vikings. You spot them a big lead. You come back. You have an opportunity to win it late, but there's an interception, and you're not able to climb that hill. Then you play the Buffalo Bills at home, and here you are. Have an opportunity in the second half to take command, and penalties knock you out. You have 11 penalties in all. A touchdown comes off the board. You're unable to win that ball game. Then against Pittsburgh, you have a 9-point lead at the end of the second quarter, and you turn the ball over, and it's a runaway. Today, against the New England Patriots, too many mistakes offensively, defensively, and on special teams. And for the Jets, it just hasn't been good enough. And every man in that locker room is feeling it. It's just tough right now. And they have to find a way to break through.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at it, I guess you take a global look of the whole team, right? It's every week it feels like it's a different way to lose, and I think even offensively and defensively, we've been searching for the offensive identity, and I don't know if they've found that yet. Like, they're trying to implement different things and figure out, okay, how can we put points on the board consistently, and I think individually guys have to look in the mirror and say, okay, what can I do differently? Because that's what's happening every time. One little drop here, one mistake here, one penalty, you would have to say that those are some selfish mistakes a lot of times, and that's what's kind of stopping you from being successful on offense. Defensively, I don't know, it's just been a complete shift. Guys have not been showing up the way they used to. There used to be a team where in the past game, you knew they were going to show up. But now, you're not seeing that stuff. And it's been a little bit of a shift in identity, honestly, because they're doing a lot more blitzing. They're trying to get home. They need more help from the front line, and they got a little bit of that today, but they just could not figure out how to stop the running quarterback. That's another thing that continues to kill them as well.
And Jeff Ulbrich was asked post-game, will you continue to call the plays on defense? He said he's going to take a hard look at everything. And we've been talking about Haason Reddick. Well, he spoke to the media for the first time since ending his holdout after the game today.
A little rusty. It was good to be back out there on the field. Wish it was under better. Wish I was talking to you under better circumstances as far as the W. But it was good to be out there flying around. I just didn't like the end result. Like I said, I just wish I was up here talking with a W under our belt. But
So why did you decide to end the holdout when you did?
As of right now, fellas, everybody that's here, I have nothing to say as far as the holdout. The only thing that I'm worried about right now is what can I do to be better? What can I do to get myself fully up to speed? We got a Thursday night game, and that's the only thing I'm focused on right now. How can I get better? How can I help the team win? And what do I need to do to make sure we can get these W's?
With this team in the situation it's in and you not being here, do you feel at all responsible for that, or What are your emotions in terms of that aspect of it?
I don't responsible for what I don't.
I mean, the way the record is right now.
No, I don't feel responsible. Wish some things were different. Things happen differently. But like I said, I'm here now. We took an L today. The only thing I'm worried about now is how myself. What can I do to be better? What can I do? Get myself fully up to speed. That way, come Thursday, I'm the best version of me.
So how can you get yourself up to speed in such a short time, man?
Continue to, hone in, learn the playbook. Look at the film today. Look at the things, look in areas where I could have been better at.
So how did you feel out there physically, just with your win and everything else?
Physically, I felt well. I felt good, man. I felt really conditioned. That was one of the things that I did work on while I was while I was going through that process, was making sure that when I did come back, that that my wind was up, that I wasn't holding the team back.
So what did you do during that time to stay in shape?
I worked out with my trainer, the same trainer I've been working out with for the last 5 to 6 years now. So we just got after it every day. He did a great job preparing me and making sure that when I did come back that I was physically ready to go.
Was there any awkwardness this week?
All right, Jets fans, the Fan Hall of Fame presented by Ticketmaster is back, celebrating the most passionate, diehard fans in the game. Submit your nomination today and tell us why you or someone you know bleeds green. Enter now at nyjets.com/Fan Hall of Fame for your chance to be immortalized alongside the best fans in the world. Jets Fan Hall of Fame, where real fans live forever. You're watching Jets Overtime, presented by SiriusXM. Jets followed the Pats in New England 25-22. It's time for our report cards. We'll start on offense, and we'll start with Quincy.
What did I give them?
Let's have go on here. Toss it up
me
there.
C.
There it is, a C.
C. Why did I give them a C? Okay, so I'm trying to figure out how do I grade these guys, and the biggest thing for me is that obviously I started the show very, very frustrated and trying to see, okay, I watch this game and I hate what I see, but if I'm going to grade each area of the team, I have to do it in a vacuum, right? So the offense, I feel like the offense was poor. But there were some highlights there. I think Conklin had a good game. I think Garrett Wilson had a good game. I think Aaron Rodgers threw no picks, right? He made some passes he needed to make. I think ultimately, right, you just have penalties. You have small missteps. But in a game where you're playing all 3 phases of a game well, this is not a bad showing for the offense. So I gave them an average, C.
I go C-. Quincy articulated it well. Aaron Rodgers, 17-28, 233. I thought Garrett Wilson was really excellent today. Explosive, big play threat. The Jets finally got some big plays down the field. Breece Hall averaged 5 yards per carry. The Jets were 3 of 5 in the red zone. But with that being said, they had more opportunities to put points on the board. And Rodgers talks about, hey, we went going into this game thinking we could score 30 points. And then I look at the third down conversions and say the Jets were 4 of 10. And Quincy also spoke about burning the timeouts. The Jets used all 3 of their timeouts with one in the first half with 1:30 remaining in the first quarter. And then there was another delay of game penalty at 22-17. Now, why is that so big? Because that moves you back. They pressured Rodgers on the 2-point conversion attempt. Mike Williams comes up with a catch, but he had no chance to get in the end zone. If you convert a 2-pointer there, it's 24-17. And the Patriots, even if they come down and they score, they're probably not. Well, they might go for 2.
Yeah, but even still, you don't know, right?
But you want to go up 7. You want to give yourself an opportunity to go up 7.
Great points.
Yeah, and the Jets finished with 336 yards of total offense, like I said earlier, 40% on third down, 60% in the red zone, no turnovers today. And on defense, Quincy, again, let's start with you. What did you give the defense?
I think I gave them a C as well. Tell me.
Drum roll.
There we go. B-.
B-. Oh, we never changed it.
Okay.
So let's switch that to a
You
C.
can change on the fly.
We'll switch it to a C, right? So why did I give them a C? The Patriots have not scored 25 points all year. They have not been a proficient offense all year. You bring in a rookie quarterback, and he's out of the game. The backup quarterback should not be able to do well enough to lead a last-minute drive to help you win the game. So I'm going with a C for the defense because, again, this is average. Honestly, I could have even dropped them even more, right? I think the numbers don't look bad, but the play, when you watch the game, sometimes the stats lie. They say numbers don't lie, but the numbers lie in this game. Overall, it just was not a good enough showing from this defense.
C- for me. When you're looking at the Patriots today, they converted 7 of 15. That's 47% on third down. And Drake May had success early, especially the Jets were not able to contain him on the ground. And then Jacoby Brissett is a backup quarterback. I know he's a seasoned professional, but you have an opportunity to close the door late. You have a 22-17 lead. It's not like they just needed a field goal. They had to march down all the way to score a touchdown. 2 critical third down conversions. Brissett got free with his legs, and then Boutte gets open on a 3rd and long. That sets them up inside the red zone. And even at 23-22, you want to prevent that 2-point conversion. Why? Because maybe you have an opportunity even to win the game. So disappointing. And then we talk about takeaways every week.
Yes.
We talk about takeaways every week.
Yeah.
It just hasn't been there.
Yeah, and for the Jets defense, Jalen Mills, 2 pass defenses today against
I thought
his
Sherwood
former
was
team.
good, too.
He led the team in tackles, or with 11. He had a tackle for loss. And let's wrap up our report cards with special teams.
Oof.
I remember what you gave the special teams.
Yeah,
if
I
you
remember
need,
too. D+.
Okay. Yeah.
Yep. Man, the game started off so well in special teams, and I think I'm happy to see Xavier Gipson. I think if we want to look at a guy on the team that really exemplifies resilience, right, that's a guy right there, a guy that I feel has had a lot of ups and downs, but he doesn't allow it to kind of affect his play. Last week he had a couple muffs punts. Today, the first punt he catches is a great return for him. So, I mean, I love to see that from him. That's a guy that should be speaking up a little bit more because something inside of him it allows him to do what he does regardless of what's going on around him or whatever that he's hearing from the outside. Now, when we start getting into the rest of special teams, I think there were some positives in terms of the return, the punt team. Right, I saw that some gunners do some good things, but the field goals. The operation is bad. I think out of all the special teams, when the field goal team doesn't do well, that's the toughest thing because you're taking points off the board.
Xavier Gipson, 40-yard punt return there, and he also averaged 17.8 yards on his punt returns. He also got in the end zone, so good for X today. I gave the entire group a C- because it's tough, man. We're talking about points being hard to come by. And Zerline missed the extra point, and then you have the missed field goal late in the ball game as well. And it's just a tough situation. In a 3-point game, those things can come back to haunt you.
Yeah, and the Jets, again, short week coming up against the Houston Texans. But if you take a look at their upcoming schedule, after Houston, the Jets then have their final longest road trip of the season, taking on the Arizona Cardinals, who won at the Horn, taking down the Miami Dolphins in Miami today.
They won that game, huh?
Yeah, at the last second, on a last-second field goal. Final score 28-27. Then the Jets host the Colts before their Week 12 bye week. And then, again, you're looking at a lot of East Coast games and a lot of 1 o'clock games as the Jets would wrap up their season schedule. But that's all the time we have here for this episode of Jets Overtime, presented by SiriusXM. Again, final score, Jets 22, Patriots 25. And we'll see you Thursday night at MetLife when the Jets take on the Texans.